Hey fam, welcome back to another Pep Wednesday where I put a little pep in your step for your midweek blues. Today we're going to be talking about fear and how fear can have a huge impact in your business if you don't deal with it. We live in unprecedented times, and fear can easily take over our lives. When we allow ourselves to be ruled by fear, it affects every aspect of our lives, including our creative businesses. One of the hardest things to do when you work for yourself as a creative is to look your fears, your apprehension, and your doubts in the eyes and overcome them. Majority of the time, our fears seem bigger than they really are. As creatives, our active imaginations work against us, enhancing them and blow them out of proportion. For example, last year I self-published my own book, Keep At It. At the time when I was making the book, it seemed like a monumental task. I had to create all the illustrated typography. I had to write the content that went with it. I had to do the layout and then put everything together in one cohesive manner that made sense as a book. On top of all the time I had to spend, I also had to invest a certain amount of money to actually produce the books. And for me, the fear was that it would not be good enough, that my work was not perfect. And this is a very real fear for most creatives. We battle with self-criticism and are afraid of showing our work. And this is the reason why most projects never get off the ground. We allow our fears to overcome us and we never pursue that project. So I'm at a crossroads now and I have to make a decision. Will I choose to pursue the project or will I let it die? Here's what I did to overcome my fear. I took a piece of paper and I wrote down everything I was afraid of in relation to the project. And once I'd written down everything, I asked myself this question: what is the worst thing that will happen if this fear becomes real? And once I'd written all of those down, I asked myself the question, what would I gain if I faced these fears? And I wrote down all the answers to that. In the end, my conclusion of those notes was very simple. There were more benefits than there were pitfalls. Even when we try and fail, we still gain more than if we don't try at all. The mistakes that we make can be our biggest teachers if we learn to look at them as stepping stones to a better version of yourself. Each lesson learned from a failure leads to a success later on down the line. Much like David faced Goliath with a quiet confidence and a mustard seed of faith, so can you. So go out there this week and face your fear. Kick that giant in the head and become a better version of yourself.